The Simpsons has been on the air for over 30 years and with hundreds of episodes and thousands of jokes. But not every moment is played for laughs. Behind the comedy, the show has said goodbye to some major characters, fan favorites, longtime regulars, even pets, and some of those losses hit harder than you'd expect. In this video, we're counting every single Simpsons character who has died in the main storyline. No dream sequences, no Halloween specials, just the canon deaths that actually stuck. Some were tragic, some were ridiculous. A few you probably missed completely and totally forgot about. Here's the full list in chronological order: who they were, how they went out, and why it mattered. Number 1. Our first actual death is a quiet one and easy to miss. In Season 6, Homer the Great, Homer joins the secret society known as the Stonecutters. Their leader, referred to only as Number 1, commands respect and tradition, until Homer is declared the Chosen One.
Welcome to the club, number 908.
Not long after Homer takes control, we learn that Number 1 has died, completely off-screen. There's no dramatic farewell or real explanation. He's just gone. It's a subtle death, but it marks the first time The Simpsons wrote out a named character, even if it was more of a punchline than a tragedy. 2. Bleeding Gums Murphy. Later that same season, the show delivered its first emotional gut punch. In Round Springfield, Lisa's jazz mentor, Bleeding Gums Murphy, is hospitalized and then dies from an unnamed illness. There's no build-up, no big moment. One minute he's there, and the next, he's gone. For Lisa, it's heartbreaking. She fights to keep his memory alive by getting his album played on the radio, letting the whole city hear his music one last time. It's the first real tearjerker in the series, and it showed fans that The Simpsons could go deeper than just comedy. Before we continue with the video and my further investigations of The Simpsons Predictions, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the season, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. 3. Grandma Flanders. This next one happens entirely off-screen, and unless you're paying attention, you might miss it completely. In the Season 7 finale, Summer of 4 Feet, 2, the Flanders family inherits a beach house. The reason? Grandma Flanders has passed away.
Can you help me with my sums?
Oh, Bart, you met Grandma Flanders. Hope she didn't scare you.
Hello, Joe.
There's no scene showing her, no funeral, and no emotional moment. Just a passing mention that she died and left the house to Ned and the boys. It's one of the show's earliest examples of using death purely for plot setup. No drama, no sadness, just a reason to hit the beach. 4. Frank Grimes. One of the most iconic deaths in Simpsons history isn't tragic. It's darkly hilarious. In Homer's Enemy, we meet Frank Grimes, a hard-working, no-nonsense man who gets a job at the nuclear power plant. But when he sees how lazy and clueless Homer is, and how well he seems to do anyway, Grimes slowly unravels. His frustration builds until he snaps, mocking Homer by pretending to be just as careless. He grabs live wires with no protection and is immediately electrocuted. It's absurd, it's brutal, and it's one of the darkest jokes the show ever pulled. A full character arc in one episode, ending in a funeral with Homer snoring in the back row. 5. Maude Flanders. This was the first time The Simpsons killed off a long-running recurring character, and it shocked a lot of fans. In Alone Again, Natra Diddley, The Simpsons and the Flanders family attend a NASCAR-style race. During a promotion, t-shirts are launched into the crowd using cannons. Homer, naturally, paints a target on his chest and bends over, right as Maude walks back to her seat. She gets hit, loses her balance, and falls off the grandstand to her death.
Oh my Lord, she's dead!
It's played partly for laughs, but the aftermath is serious. Ned becomes a widower, Rod and Todd lose their mom, and for the first time, the show commits to a permanent death for someone the audience knew well. 6. Snowball II. In I, annoyed grunt, Bot. The Simpsons takes pet deaths to a whole new level and burns through 3 cats in a single episode. It starts when Snowball II is hit by Dr. Hibbert's car. Lisa is devastated and tries to replace her, but Snowball III drowns almost instantly, and Snowball IV, renamed Coltrane, jumps out a window after hearing Lisa's saxophone. Eventually, she adopts Snowball V, but in an act of denial and convenience, she just renames it Snowball II again. As she puts it, "This way, I save on a new dish." It's a rapid-fire gag about loss, grief, and moving on, all in classic Simpsons fashion. 7. Amber Simpson. Amber Simpson, Homer's surprise Vegas wife, doesn't stick around for long. She first appears in Season 10 when Homer and Ned go on a drunken bender in Las Vegas and accidentally marry two cocktail waitresses. Years later, in Jazzy and the Pussycats, Amber briefly returns, and just as quickly disappears from the series forever. Later in the episode, the family casually attends her funeral. The cause? A drug overdose, mentioned in passing with no real emotion or focus.
So how did Malt Liquor Mommy die?
Stop calling her that.
I'll tell you how she died. You know that sign that says do not stand up on the roller coaster?
Yeah?
She overdosed right in front of it.
Oh, class all the way.
It's one of the show's coldest send-offs, a one-time character killed off just as abruptly as she was introduced. 8. Mona Simpson. Mona Simpson, Homer's long-lost mother, had disappeared and returned more than once. But in Mona Leaves a, her story comes to a permanent end. After showing up unexpectedly at the Simpson home, Mona and Homer share a tense reunion. But the next morning, she's gone. This time for good.
Mom? Mom?
Homer finds her in the living room chair, having passed away during the night. The episode shifts from comedy to reflection as Homer struggles with unresolved feelings and follows her final wishes for one last rebellious mission. It's a rare emotional moment that gives Mona a real farewell and gives Homer some long overdue closure. 9. Fat Tony Springfield's most charming mob boss meets his end in Donnie Fatso. After Homer goes undercover to infiltrate the mob, he ends up forming a genuine friendship with Fat Tony. But when Tony finds out Homer's a snitch, the betrayal is too much, and he suffers a fatal heart attack on the spot. But in true Simpsons fashion, the crime family doesn't stay leaderless for long. Fat Tony's cousin, Fit Tony, takes over, quickly gains weight, and is soon referred to as Fat Tony. So technically, the character is gone, but also kind of not. Still, the original Fat Tony, officially dead. 10. Rabbi Hyman Kristoffski. Krusty the Clown's complicated relationship with his father comes to a quiet, emotional end in Clown in the Dumps. Rabbi Hyman Kristoffski had always disapproved of his son's career in comedy. In this episode, Krusty finally asks his father a burning question.
Please, Dad, do you even think I'm funny?
I'm not gonna lie to you. For funny, I prefer Rabbi Rudenstein. He puts the heart in Hanukkah and the levity in Leviticus. As for you, son, if you want to know my honest opinion of you, you've always been,
Go on.
Soon after, he dies, peacefully, off-screen. The episode follows Krusty as he struggles to make sense of the answer, questioning whether he ever made his father proud. It's a surprisingly grounded moment for a character known mostly for slapstick, and it gives Krusty a rare, sincere storyline about grief. Edna Kbopel's death isn't shown on screen, but it's one of the most quietly emotional moments in the show's history. After voice actress Marcia Wallace passed away in real life in 2013, the show retired Edna's character out of respect. In later episodes, subtle tributes began to appear, most notably a chalkboard gag where Bart writes, "We'll really miss you, Mrs. K. Eventually, we see Ned Flanders looking at a photo of himself and Edna, confirming they had married, and that she has since passed. There's no dramatic send-off, but the message is clear. Edna is gone, and the show chose to honor her with silence instead of spectacle. 12. Santa's Little Helper's mother. In The Way of the Dog, we learn more about Santa's little helper than ever before, including the fate of his mother. After a series of behavioral issues, the Simpsons track down Santa's past, eventually discovering his mother, She-Biscuit, living with an elderly couple. The two dogs reunite briefly, but their time together is short-lived. Near the end of the episode, Santa's little helper mourns quietly as we learn his mother has passed away. It's a rare pet-focused story that takes a surprisingly heartfelt turn, reminding us that even the family dog has a backstory full of loss. 13. Elizabeth Hoover. Miss Hoover, Lisa's longtime second-grade teacher, quietly exits the series in Sorry, Not Sorry. There's no dramatic moment, no farewell, and no funeral. Her death is simply acknowledged in passing, with the implication that she's no longer alive. While details are left vague, it's clear from Lisa's comments and the classroom setting that Hoover has passed away off-screen. It's another understated goodbye in typical Simpsons fashion, a background character quietly written out, leaving just enough breadcrumbs for viewers to notice. 14. Larry Dalrymple. After decades of silently occupying a stool at Moe's Tavern, Larry the Barfly finally gets his moment, in the afterlife. In Cremains of the Day, Moe and the bar regulars discover that Larry has died unexpectedly. Though he was never a man of many words, his death hits the group harder than they expected.
Guys, I think Larry's dead.
The episode follows Moe, Homer, Lenny, and Carl as they attempt to honor Larry's last wishes, only to realize they barely knew anything about him. It's a bittersweet tribute to a background character who was always there, until suddenly he wasn't. Before we wrap up, we've got one honorable mention, and it's a big one. And hey, if you've made it this far, you're clearly one of us. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and every single one counts. So, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and help us hit that milestone. In One Fish, Two Fish, Blowfish, Bluefish, Homer eats what may be a deadly piece of fugu. He's told he has just 24 hours to live.
If, in fact, you've consumed the venom of the blowfish, and from what the chef has told me, it's quite probable, you have 24 hours to live.
24 hours?
Well, 22. I'm sorry I kept you waiting so long.
Oh, Mart, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
And the rest of the episode follows him as he prepares for death, saying goodbye to his loved ones, making peace with life, and even listening to the Bible on tape. Of course, in true Simpsons fashion, he wakes up the next morning totally fine. No death, no consequences, just a really touching, surprisingly deep episode. It doesn't count as a real death, but it's too important to ignore. That's the full list. Every canon character death in The Simpsons, from the early seasons to the most recent episodes. Some were emotional, some were played for laughs, and a few happened so quietly you might not have even noticed. But each one left its mark on the show, and on fans who've stuck around all these years. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. And if you want more Simpsons deep dives, breakdowns, and character histories, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and your support helps us keep going. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.